Thanks so much. I want to thank Chairman Westerman, Congressman Costa and Panetta, and all of our partners, including our tribal partners, for supporting this important legislation. The Save Our Sequoias Act is a comprehensive, bipartisan bill that will save an iconic species from extinction. It provides sufficient funding to staff and support sequoia protection projects, helping the Park Service and Forest Service scale their existing efforts. It provides clear statutory authority so land managers can take immediate emergency action with fewer legal risks. And it was developed with a group of local, state, federal, and community representatives and shares strong supports in Congress with 50 co-sponsors, including 23 Democrats. The Save Our Sequoias Act is the only bipartisan bill in Congress capable of protecting this species from extinction, and we should pass it right away. Dr. Nelson, Save the Redwoods League is a science-based organization that manages redwoods and giant sequoia. In your expert opinion, are the giant sequoias facing an emergency threat from extreme wildfire?
Yes, they are.
Do you agree that ecological thinning, mechanical and hand crew treatments, and pile and prescribed burning are critically important to protect sequoia groves from the risks of wildfire?
I do. You've listed a suite of tools, and we're going to have experts such as registered professional foresters giving specific prescriptions to specific places, and yep, they're going to be drawing on those tools.
Great. Chief Moore, in June 2022, the Forest Service announced it would take emergency actions, including the authorities codified in our Save a Sequoias Act, to protect giant sequoias in 12 out of the 37 U.S. Forest Service managed groves, which you've discussed before, and thank you for doing that. These emergency actions were taken prior to the completion of a formal NEPA analysis. Why did the Forest Service choose to use its emergency authorities proactively to protect giant sequoias?
I would like to start by saying that the action that we took was NEPA. It was authorities that we've had in place since I think about 1989, and it's called the alternative arrangements. That's basically where we develop an action alternative and began to implement the work without having an objection period. That was the authority we used. So far, we've approved 6 projects so far, and we have a number of other projects in the pipeline working their way up.
How does the Forest Service balance the need to conduct forest treatments quickly while still conducting sound environmental analysis?
Well, we think it's important to have sound environmental analysis. What we also think is important is to have a streamlined approach to how we do that analysis. And looking at the traditional ways that we do business is categorical exclusion, environmental assessment, environmental impact statement. And each of those depends on the level of significance. We are finding that we're able to streamline our processes, and to give you an idea, 85% of all of our projects now are done with categorical exclusion, and that's up from about 70% as long as 10 years ago. And a big part of that is just streamlining the process, but also educating the workforce on when and where to use the right tool.
You have a pragmatic approach to getting the job done within all the legal framework that you have and also with the resources you have, and I think we're trying to help you with that with this bill. And Mr. Desai, the Save Our Sequoias Act would provide over $200 million in funding to support giant sequoia protection projects. How would this funding help scale the Park Service's existing efforts to protect giant sequoias from extreme fire?
Thank you for the question. So we need money, a combination of Congress appropriating money and the administration, what they have releasing it to these agencies. For the National Park Service, they have this 3-year action plan in Sequoia, but this work is going to continue. It's not just we're doing it for 3 years or we're doing it for 7 years, right? So it's going to continue over the long term and really bringing back the combination of traditional ecological knowledge, the work that these agencies have been doing to keep fire into this environment. So the money is needed. It needs to be appropriated, and as soon as it can, I think it gives these agencies certainty, right, that they can plan. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks again for being here. Look, this strikes me as one of the easier challenges we're going to have on this wildfire issue. If we can't come together on sequoias, I think it's going to be much more difficult for us to address the larger wildfire issues that we have in California, Oregon, Washington, and across the West. We have a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to working with you all and with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to deal with what really is a huge risk for the environment and for our way of life. And so again, thank you for your expertise. And Mr. Vice Chairman in particular, thank you for the constructive input you've had as a tribe, and it's very, very helpful to us. We very much appreciate it. And I yield back.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Fulcher for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.